This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The Security and Intelligence Branch of the Police Force probing those claims against the CID chief, foreign entities to assist in the investigation. The Prime Minister says police misconduct claims being taken seriously. And the man alleging police corruption shot, all of it caught on Facebook Live. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Duquessadine will be joining us. Again, a lot of chaos to talk about this morning, and all coming on pre-independence, the day before independence, the 51st anniversary of the independence of the country. We're also going to talk, though, about the GTR Campbell Small Island Sustainability Research Project. And later in business, more on what it means to be a Bahamian today in light of so many odd things happening in the country. That's all straight ahead on this pre-independence show. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a man who has been portraying himself as a whistleblower and who reportedly released the voice notes that triggered a police investigation into operations of the Criminal Investigation Department, he was shot, and all of it live on Facebook as he continued to make claims against the police and other Bahamian officials. The release of the voice notes last week has resulted in Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson, who heads the Criminal Investigation Department, going on leave pending the outcome of an investigation. The Facebook user, who has done numerous live broadcasts since the voice notes went public on Friday, had said he was in the United States and that there was a $50,000 bounty on his head. Those voice notes purport to show police misconduct. The man was 1 minute and 19 seconds into the live when 6 gunshots were heard and glass smashed. It appeared that the shots were fired through a window. He sat up and said, quote, "I got shot in the face." He looked into the camera, bleeding from the face, repeating that he was shot. He said, as a woman in the background called for help, quote, "They got me, bro." The man took off his shirt and slumped against a wall with blood stains on his pants. He informed that he was shot in his foot as well. He said he did not get shot in his head, and that he was good. The woman then said into the phone that he was shot in the upper back as well, and the man asked for water. A few minutes later, police arrived confirming that he was shot in the foot and grazed in the back. His initial medical assistance was all caught on Facebook Live as authorities took him away. Stunned viewers flooded the live with commentary on what they were seeing. That Facebook Live was still going close to midnight, though it showed only an empty room with a ceiling fan on. Yesterday, Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander announced at a press conference at the Security and Intelligence Branch that the SIB of the police force will oversee the investigation launched after the release of those voice notes and will be assisted by 2 foreign entities. Again, the commissioner is saying that 2 entities from the United Kingdom and the United States will assist in the investigation to ensure that the probe is independent, impartial, and fair. But Fernander refusing to disclose the international entities, which groups they are. But the commissioner at a press conference yesterday saying, quote, "We understand fully that this case affects public trust and confidence within the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We've made efforts to address this. But assertions like the present case set us back. We cannot let any individual or group drag down the reputation of this noble institution." The commissioner says the police will limit their comments on the investigation to avoid compromising it. Well, in his first public comment since the release of those voice notes last week, Prime Minister Philip Davis, in a social media post, assured the matter is being taken seriously. In a post to X, formerly known as Twitter, Davis said, quote, "The allegations involving police misconduct are serious and they are being taken seriously. The Commissioner of Police moved quickly to suspend the officer in question and to initiate a thorough professional investigation. As of late last week, there were discussions about how best to utilize international expertise and support for the investigation, and we expect more announcements will be forthcoming on the front." Also from that press conference yesterday, Commissioner Fernander says that police are still looking for missing American Taylor Casey, while the family of Casey has publicly expressed that they are unhappy with the investigation efforts. Fernander says they are doing all they can to locate her. The 41-year-old resident of Chicago was last seen on June 19th at a yoga retreat on Paradise Island. Fernander says that she was seen moving in and out of a tent on the retreat's property around 11 p.m. that night. Casey's mother, Colette Seymour, who flew with other family members to the Bahamas last week amid search efforts, upon returning to the U.S., claimed police were doing the, quote, bare minimum to locate her daughter. And police have still not located 16-year-old Devin Isaacs, who went missing nearly 2 months ago, despite spotting him on CCTV footage. Commissioner Fernander says police questioned 3 people in relation to the teen's disappearance. He also said that based on information retrieved from his laptop, they narrowed it down to 3 men that he was in communication with. He said, quote, "Those persons were identified and were seen and gave an account of their last communication with Isaacs." Isaacs was last seen by his mother on the night of May 15th in the family's home on Carmichael Road. Police say they have CCTV footage from 12:51 a.m. on May 16th showing Isaacs interacting with a man in a vehicle outside the apartment complex in which his family resides. A man who was previously sought by police for questioning regarding an attempted murder has been charged. 21-year-old Alistair Major is accused of shooting Rashawn Roll at Sumner Street on June 29th. Major, otherwise known as Ali and Panda, is charged with attempted murder and the alternative charge of possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life in connection with the incident. Major didn't have to enter pleas to the charges when he made his initial court appearance yesterday before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. He was denied bail and the matter was adjourned to October 3rd for the voluntary bill of indictment. And a man remanded to prison after he was accused of raping a teenage girl. Prosecutors allege that Raymond Theoc raped the 17-year-old girl on June 28th. Theoc wasn't required to enter a plea to the charge when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. He was denied bail since the magistrate lacks the jurisdiction to consider bail for the offense. Theoc's matter has been adjourned to October 3rd for the voluntary bill of indictment. Overseas rescue operations stretched into a second day today as a major Kyiv children's hospital struck by a Russian missile. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky saying today that officials raised the countrywide casualty toll to 42 and almost 200 injured. Zelensky is saying on the social platform X that 64 people were hospitalized in the capital, as well as 28 in Kryvyi and 6 in Dnipro, both cities in central Ukraine. It was Russia's heaviest bombardment of Kyiv in almost 4 months, and one of the deadliest of the war, hitting 7 of the city's 10 districts. The strike at the Children's Hospital, which interrupted open-heart surgery and forced young cancer patients to take their treatments outdoors, drew an international outcry. The 10-story hospital, which is Ukraine's largest medical facility for children, was caring for some 670 patients at the time of the attack. And the head of the Kenya-led multinational force tasked with curbing gang violence in Haiti, saying Monday that there's no room for failure and that the United Nations-backed police mission was committed to ensuring democratic elections in the Caribbean nation. The nationally broadcast news conference was the first public comment from the Kenyan force, though the briefing did not take any questions from the media. Still, major questions remain about the Kenyan force, which arrived late last month in Haiti, months after powerful gangs seized control of most of the country's capital, Port-au-Prince, and caused the prime minister's resignation. Kenyan officer Godfrey Utunge saying that, quote, "We have a job that we are committed to do. We intend to achieve this by working closely with Haitian authorities and local international partners dedicated to a new Haiti." The new UN-backed mission, to which the United States has pledged over $300 million in support, has been questioned from the start. At home, Kenyan police have long been accused by watchdogs and witnesses of human rights abuses, including in recent protests. Haiti's new Prime Minister Gary Conille has called the history of foreign intervention in his country a mixed bag that has included human rights abuses and a lack of respect for sovereignty and local culture. But some in Haiti have welcomed the new mission with hope. In sports, the Palms got off to a strong start in Babe Ruth Caribbean Regional Championships, winning in both the 12 and under and 16 and under divisions Monday. In the 12 and under division at the Blue Hill Sporting Complex, the Bahamas got past Aruba 6-2 and then drubbed an all-star team from the Freedom Farm Baseball League 13-1. In the early game, Vari Burrows got the win from the mound for the Bahamas, pitching the full 5 innings, scattering 5 hits and struck out 2. The Bahamas defeated Puerto Rico 6-2 as well in these regional championships. You can read more about that in today's Guardian Sports section. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. First, a good weather for today. We've got troughing near the northwest Bahamas. That's going to support some cloudiness and increased shower chances. Meanwhile, high pressure across the area will maintain mostly stable conditions, along with gentle to locally fresh breezes. We've got a heat advisory in effect for the Bahamas, and everyone's being advised to stay hydrated, wear loose-fitting clothing, and limit prolonged outdoor activity, especially during peak sunshine hours today. Heat indices, again, will be in the triple digits. Boaters and beachgoers should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents, especially along eastern shorelines in the southeast Bahamas. And a layer of Saharan dust will continue to move across the central and now the northwest Bahamas. and that will likely be an issue for people with allergies and severe respiratory issues. And so keep that in mind today. For the Northwest Bahamas today, we're looking at variably cloudy, hot, and humid conditions with isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the extreme northern islands. Partly cloudy, very warm and humid tonight with a few showers and possible thunderstorms. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times. Seas 2 to 4 feet. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, hot and a bit breezy with a stray shower or two. Mainly fair, very warm and muggy tonight. Small craft caution in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts in the central islands. Easterly at 15 to 20 knots in the southeast Bahamas. Seas 2 to 4 feet in the central islands and 4 to 6 feet in the southeastern Bahamas. Temperatures today, again in the 90s, highs around 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 106 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to a very warm 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Currently in Nassau, it is about 82 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, but it feels like it's 90 already. That's your morning blend weather check. We'll have another look at your weather and the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Living with a neurological condition shouldn't define you. At Cleveland Clinic in Florida, we do whatever it takes to make life better today while discovering new treatments for a brighter tomorrow. From epilepsy management to specialized spine care and brain tumor surgery, we're delivering world-class neurology care for the day-to-day, for the days you live for every care in the world. Visit clevelandclinicflorida.org/Caribbean.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now on this Independence Eve, DeQuessa Dean. Good morning, DeQuessa.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas. Happy pre-Independence Day.
Happy pre-Independence Day to you as well.
Any big plans? Any barbecues? Any?
We'll see. I'm winging it.
Me
So
too.
we'll see how it goes. There is feels like a very dark cloud hanging over this independence. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the country, and that's we're gonna have to all come together and to try to celebrate the good things about the country.
Yes.
To help that to shine through all of this.
Yeah.
Boy, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But hey, coming up this morning, we are, maybe this will help. This is a genetic project, GTR Campbell Small Island Sustainability Research Project. They are hoping to get Bahamians to find out more about their ancestry and their roots, and some genetic testing that'll be going on. So look at the details. Maybe I'm not describing it properly. Our guest will let us know.
Oh, I'll be interested. Did you see my blinks?
Yeah. Who knows? This could be quite cool.
Yes.
Then later, we're gonna see. We're gonna talk more about being a Bahamian on this Independence Eve and what that means, especially in light of some things that have come to light in the last few days and some other videos that have made the rounds in the past week.
Yeah.
That people celebrating the uniqueness of the country, which to many sounds like all the flaws.
Yes.
But should we embrace those things, or do we need to stomp them out?
We have to embrace them to stomp them out. So this is what it is.
That's interesting.
And now, what do we do to change it?
Yeah. So you definitely don't want to miss that. The 9 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking. Want to hear from you about all of this as well. So it's going to be an interesting morning. Let's begin though with what's in the news. And in the news, okay, so my sleep pattern's all over the place, right? So some nights I'm up very late, some nights I'm in bed like a baby, right? Early. So last night was one of those, relatively early, and I woke up to a whole lot of messages and videos. I'm like, is this the same stuff from last week? Oh no, this was new stuff, a whole bunch of new stuff, live videos, Facebook lives from the chaos that was yesterday. For Juan Sylvan's Moteir, I don't know how to pronounce whatever. But yeah, so that name may sound familiar to many of you because a lot of you follow him. But many others just learned about him as the person who's been leaking these voice notes, this audio that has sparked this probe into the CID chief. And so Yesterday was a big day, a press conference with the police force, the commissioner talking about the probe and giving some information on how this is going to go, a little bit of information. The Prime Minister also issuing a statement on X, Twitter. But even outshadowing that is what happened apparently to Sylvan's Matea. Yesterday, what can we call it? A raid. His home was raided. He says he lives in the United States, and the at least one person in the video appears to be an American police officer. I mean, anything can be rig up today, but this looked pretty legit and terrifying. And so there are articles in all the papers about this today. Man alleging police corruption shot on Facebook Live. This is what the Nassau Guardian is saying. A man who's been portraying himself as a whistleblower and who reportedly released the voice notes that triggered a police investigation into operations of the Criminal Investigation Department, the CID, was shot, all of it on Facebook Live last night as he continued to make claims against the police and other Bahamian officials. The release of the voice notes last week has resulted in Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson, who had CID, going on leave pending the outcome of an investigation. The Facebook user, who has done numerous live broadcasts since the voice notes went public on Friday, had said he was in the United States and that there was a $50,000 bounty on his head. Now, what's that about, right?
Is that like before this for something else, or is it connected? Interesting.
He has a lot to say about the Bahamas, but who put the bounty on his head? Is it because of his actions? I don't know. Let's not add anything to it. But we lots of questions. Anyway, those voice notes purport to show police misconduct. The man was 1 minute and 19 seconds into the live when 6 gunshots were heard and glass smashed.
Right.
It appeared that the shots were fired through a window. The man sat up and said, quote, "I got shot in the face." He looked in the camera, bleeding from the face, repeating that he was shot. He said, as a woman in the background called for help, "They got me, bro." The man took off his shirt and slumped against a wall with blood stains on his pants. He informed that he was shot in his foot also. He said he did not get shot in the head, so, quote, "I'm good." The woman then said into the phone he was shot in the upper back as well, and the man then asked for water. He continued speaking, quote, "Trust me, God got me." A few minutes later, police arrived, confirming he was shot in the foot and grazed in the back. Okay, so that's different. The police came later. It's not clear that...
Right, I don't, because it was just really weird to me that if the police came, wouldn't they announce themselves? Let's finish
so
up.
Now this is a...
Mix-up?
Maybe the police didn't shoot him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. A few minutes later, the police arrived. His initial medical assistance was all caught on the live as authorities took him away. Stunned viewers flooded the live with commentary on what they were seeing. Facebook Live was still going close to midnight, though it showed only an empty room with a ceiling fan on. All right, so let's... wow, that's in the Nassau Guardian today, folks. There's more in the Tribune today as well. That big headline, man who broadcast voice notes is shot. Shooting comes hours after commissioner says to trust the police. So they're writing, Sylvan's Matea, the man who first disclosed voice notes that led Criminal Investigation Department head Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson to take leave amid a police probe, was shot during a Facebook Live broadcast last night. Hundreds were tuning in when a dozen or more shots rang through his house, forcing him to fall to the ground amid sounds of breaking glass and a crying baby.
With a baby. Wow.
Matea, whose Facebook page says he lives in Atlanta, said he was shot in the foot and grazed in his face. He said after he was shot, quote, "That dream come true." Earlier, he posted on Facebook that he dreamed he would be shot.
Wow. Well...
He added during the scream as chaos unfolded and viewers reacted in shock, quote, "Hey, y'all, sent a hit out on me." The live footage showed an unidentified woman calling the police as he lay on the floor, dazed and bleeding. Okay.
So there it is.
He survived the incident and was helped by U.S. police. Okay. He said, he told the officers on the live stream, you can hear this, quote, "The FBI know I'm here. I have issues with the Bahamian government. I made the newspaper today, so they probably send somebody to kill me." Now, that is some crazy stuff to say. Now, this is what I saw, this part here.
Wow.
Let's read that again.
Yes.
Quote, "The FBI know I'm here. I have issues with the Bahamian government. I made the newspaper today, so they probably sent somebody to kill me."
Wow.
Before he was shot, Mutea was making a number of disparaging claims about senior police officers and government officials, many of them challenging to follow many of the claims. He was the first person to expose voice notes that have put the Royal Bahamas Police Force under heavy scrutiny. The voice notes purportedly captured conversations about a quid pro quo arrangement that would let the police drop their chase for Michael Fox Jr. and Dino Smith, two men suspected of being involved in a $1.4 million bank heist back in November. Fox Jr. and Smith were both killed in separate incidents earlier this year.
It's heavy. It's kind of heavy.
Kind of heavy?
Yeah, it's kind of heavy. But I mean, there are so many thoughts because aren't like whistleblowers usually quiet and anonymous so as to not draw attention to themselves? I mean, I feel like he put himself at risk by exposing himself, or maybe he exposed himself to give it some, I guess, more credibility or something. I don't know, but putting yourself in harm's risk like that is something that would happen once you open that door and expose that, hey, it's me. And then, there's some powerful people that you're targeting.
Indeed. Indeed. This is crazy. This is all crazy. Again, there could be all kinds of explanations for this. Again, who is this guy? What is his background? Who knows how many enemies he has if he's making videos like this all the time? Plenty of people probably want to get at him. Doesn't necessarily mean it's anybody related to the Bahamas. It doesn't necessarily. Let's be honest, right? But
could or couldn't.
But what the biggest coincidence on the planet Earth in recent memory.
And he seemed so confident in sharing that he was in the United States, which gave me the impression that he felt safe. And I'm like, wow. Really? But to be on Facebook Live and to have someone try to take you out, that's like movie type crap.
And people watch the movie would say, this is a bunch of foolishness, right? They'd say, this is outrageous.
Yeah, but it's real.
This is too real to be real. Let's hear from you folks. At this point,
it's a lot.
And
why would the FBI know you? Like, what does that even mean?
Maybe he's trying to, I don't even know.
Is he seeking asylum?
Maybe he's being protected. Maybe he thought. But
okay.
would that have happened? And as you say, if you are, why would you go on
Right.
Facebook Live every day? What happened to the quiet island life the people used to have? The sweet little,
Yeah, that's before development. That's before advancement.
Down by the rocks and catch a little fish?
No.
Little House on the Prairie?
What really makes it look a little, to me, right, what really makes this look so bad is the statement from the, the chief, the commissioner of police, acknowledging that the public's trust in the police force was impacted by the release of those voice notes. And this happening right now on the heels of that brings up so many questions, so many more questions,
Oh, I'm being corrected. It was 1 hour and 19 minutes in.
Oh, he was. Why was he on so long? I'm serious.
And 19 minutes? Really?
Yeah, no, there's another person I know who does lives that long, and she gets a whole crowd of people.
This explains everything about the people around us today. This is
Yeah, that's
listening to for an hour a night.
Yeah, maybe people coming and going, different people for
No,
the
I
hour.
doubt it. They sat right there. They weren't paying as much
I'm
attention
trying
to
to be
class.
optimistic here, Dwight.
They
Okay?
didn't pay that much attention in class. I can tell you that.
Well, it wasn't
But,
juicy. That stuff in class just
yeah.
wasn't juicy enough. But an hour—that's a long time.
Dear Lord.
Okay,
let's go to the phone lines. I mean, I don't even have the energy to caution people. You might as well just everything's.
Yeah.
Trust no one, folks, apparently. 323-6232, 325-4316. Just let's not call any names. But everybody knows what everybody... 325-4259. If I just fly a pirate flag instead of the Bahamian flag, will that be seen as a problem? Because I think that is the flag of the Bahamas.
Boy, listen.
It continues. It never stopped.
Correct. It never stopped. I will go with you on that. It took different forms.
The pirates, they wear suits now.
Yeah, I'm going to
suits
stand with you on that.
and tuxedos occasionally.
Yeah, and we see it coming out more and more, even with, not criminal, but even political. So this is like exposure season, it seems, and all of this fallout is, whew.
Again, we don't know. We're not accusing anybody. Just saying this is a ridiculous coincidence. 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Follower says here, what an independence to remember. Wow. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning to your co-partner.
Good morning.
That's I think it is, right?
Duquesa.
Okay, cute, Jasper.
Duquesa. It's okay.
Okay. I understand that you're calling. As you know, I called because I want to speak from a political leadership perspective as a young man who ran for politics in this country twice, and who ran because corruption has to end. The allegations between the young man Sylvans and the country is getting heated up because what happens is Sylvans hasn't just started making accusations towards this government. He's been making accusations from the start this government came into power and why they came into power. And so what happens now is the attention that he's getting from the police internationally will lead to him being probed to all those accusations, which includes our national security minister, which includes our prime minister. Okay, I've been saying this as a theory based that since PLP came into power, crime increased, crime rose. And the reason why is because we are being led by criminal lawyers, or used to be criminal defense lawyers. When Minister was in power as a doctor, health was the issue, because that's all he knows. So he made sure doctors get paid. He made sure we had to take these tests. He made sure this COVID was a big thing, and we had to spend this money because he was looking out for the doctors and the health professions. Now, since Bill came into power, he's been looking out for these criminals. This ain't even.
We got to stop you there, and you're not even correct about what you're saying about the other stuff, because people are still trying to get their money. And but to make this about politics, we have a problem across the board. We know we have many issues. We got people on both sides facing criminal matters, trials. We got a problem in the Bahamas. It doesn't matter which party you're with, right? That is not helpful today at all. We've got to figure out a way to deal with this. People are crossing the party lines like they're changing clothes, so it makes no difference.
Correct.
Now, if you have an issue with criminal defense lawyers being in politics, which I understand completely, let's talk about that, right? But yeah, it's not about a party thing. We have a problem in the Bahamas. Our willingness to accept foolishness from people is too big, too great, right? And we look up to too many people who used to be or are criminals.
Yeah. Correct.
And that is a problem across the board.
Yeah.
Across the board. They are celebrated. The people who are doing the things, quietly living, are ridiculed even for being boring and stale and whatever. But everybody else celebrated. You want to carve them into the few hills we have left.
Yeah, as long as
on the island.
They're giving you a little something.
Especially. But yeah, let's not make this political today. Again, we know this goes across the board. Hey, who is not in the... These people are still in the same positions, no matter if the title is different.
Correct. Retired.
Doing the same thing They will always do it.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
with the same influence.
Yep.
No matter who's in
And the
charge.
same protection.
So let's talk about that.
Agreed.
323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning. I didn't get the lady.
Duquesa Dean, always on Tuesdays
Dean.
here.
Yes, sorry, Miss Dean. Yeah, Dwight and Miss Dean. The only problem we have in this country, Dwight, and we have to address it at one point, right? But only one disease we have in this country, and that's leadership, right? Because if I'm the leader of my home and things are going contrary in my home, right? I can't blame the home because the home is not in charge of running the house or itself. So we in the Bahamas, we have to come and understand and realize that the leadership, we have a leadership crisis in the Bahamas because we elect people who don't want to live up to the responsibility to what they are being paid to do, right? So at the end of the day, while I agree with it, you when you said, hey, no politics, but the reality of the matter is the leaders of our country are in politics, and they are not interested in leading the Bahamas in no upward direction to make us proud to be Bahamians again. You guys have a wonderful day. Be safe.
Thanks a lot. I'm saying don't make it about the parties, right?
Right.
Because it doesn't matter. One party is not better than the other.
Correct.
There are all kinds of accusations and
Correct.
claims. You got
On both.
a whole bunch of people
And they all have ties.
from the previous administration
They're all tied together.
accused of
Correct.
crimes, and the
Yes.
administration before that as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
How many MPs have a court case? It's insane.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what colors
Yeah.
they carry, right? We've got our problem
huge
everywhere you
problem.
go, and they don't even care anymore. Blatant with the you need to pay me for this if you want this.
Yeah. Because it's
Every
a conditioning.
department, everywhere.
It's almost like a conditioning. It's been happening for so long that it's expected.
Yeah.
You know, if you want anything done, follow these unwritten, unspoken rules that have nothing to do with the actual real rules of governance. So, yeah, I agree it's not political, but I do agree. No, it's not based on party because we see it across the board regardless of party. And we see it in even parties that are trying to get in. So it's like across the board, a person, it's like it's an individual problem. It's like it's like a person.
I think it's tied into what we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show. Genetics is
Yeah.
deep down in the DNA of some people, right? And they can't get out of it. And we have to get to the bottom of that to figure out what's going on there. Let's take this call, and we want to get to a lot of your text messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Miss Dean.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bahamas. I'm just calling to say that I think your show should allow people to express themselves so that we can know what Bahamians are really thinking. Whether they introduce politics or not, I don't think it's fair for you to cut them off because then you'd only have one side of the story if you cut people off because you disagree with what they're about to say.
Yeah, that's not what
So
I'm doing. I'm trying to protect this company from lawsuits. People are mentioning names and saying things that are unverifiable. So this show,
I agree with you.
If you listen to this regularly, people are saying far too much that they probably should be saying. But we have to keep it in line with what is going to be not problematic.
The names, the calling of particular names, I understand. But I think people should be allowed to express
That's
their
fine. What do you have to say
opinion.
today? What do you have to say?
That's it. That's all I have
Okay,
to say.
well, thank you very much for that. Yeah. I wish they would do that in a sensible, adult, mature way. When they're not able to, I have to step in. Because you're not going to be with me when I get sued. You're not going to care when I'm dragged through the mud by the same criminal defense lawyers that you all want to name and shame and say that they are all manner of demons. And, But I hear you. Yeah. Say what you have to say in a sensible way, please. This person here says, the whistleblower over the CDU chief was shot in the United States by a hitman. There needs to be a commissioner inquiry. Well, I mean, I don't know how you do that.
Right. There needs to be an investigation for sure.
I'm sure the U.S. will investigate.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. They probably get to the bottom of that faster than we will.
Yeah.
Even if it were here. Right?
I agree. Maybe it's a good thing for him.
I suppose they will say that the attempted murder on this gentleman who was shot on the live was AI also. I mean, you could make a case. The whole police force needs to be investigated, fired, and jailed. The whole thing.
Wow, the whole?
We need external help because the police cannot be trusted. Investigate themselves, conflict of interest.
Wow.
Okay. It's a lot. I'm boycotting this year's Independence celebrations. We didn't get last year's Independence rundown on how much it cost. Don't read this part on the air.
Yeah, that person is being mature.
I think I should read this part on the air. I really do think we should. The person says, I think the police commissioner should step down because we don't know what he got in that package that he got from before. Remember when he was suing the government because, right? And, that's an interesting point, actually. This person says here, stop playing crackhead games, Dwight. That's what one of his sayings. That's one of Sylvan's.
That's one of his sayings. Okay, I was like, what? Okay.
His catchphrase. Stop playing crackhead games.
Oh, okay. Dwight. Okay.
The live is still up. Is it really crazy that he got shot the day after? It is crazy. You don't think so?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. The man is a narcissistic gangster looking for attention, and he got it. The phone is one of the easiest ways to get tracked down.
Right. Like, didn't you think of that?
Well, I mean, he could be that, and he could be a whistleblower exposing.
Both,
it could be all these things. It could be all. Authorities don't want the truth to be revealed. Corrupt, failed state. Minnis was right. Sylvan's was not targeting anyone. They're targeting him. He's doing the same thing. Okay, now they're calling another name. Wow, oh boy. Dwight, he stay up in Bahamian business even though he is foreign. He doesn't have time to get mixed up over there. He's being targeted for exposing. What sort of country are we building? Blackbeard died, but piracy never left these islands. This person says, I love and admire the courage of the young man, and I hope it spreads like wildfire. Trust me, we are all thinking the same thing. It starts at the top. This person says, they still don't believe the Bahamas is a third world country masquerading as a developing country. They're all the same. They're all developing. They don't understand what you're saying. Okay. Anyway, you're saying what? It's not developing. That's what you're saying? Okay. Crime is up. Unemployment is increasing. No, that's not what it's showing at all. With large numbers of discouraged workers. Corruption at an all-time high. Country debt is high, with the IMF issuing new warnings in the papers today. We have leaders who are one-eyed midgets. What? Why are you... No. In a country of blinded giants. Yikes. Bahamians will be praying for the return of the white slave masters.
Oh, wow.
Because they were more caring than these house Negroes left to run the master's house.
That's very strong. That's very strong.
Happy Independence, Bob.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Boy.
That's very strong. Powerful.
So we are finally at stage 5, acceptance. We are a corrupt nation. Armed forces on both sides of the government have been found guilty before, and there's never real repercussions. We can no longer accept any of those entities to expose and remove it, so now is the time to get external help. And anyone that exposes it is a part of the problem. Bring in the FBI and the international media because our fourth estate also needs help. Well, I mean, the people buying out people all the time. And, well, boy.
I mean.
Okay. Yep, some things here. People who, okay. We don't necessarily celebrate criminals. We just don't question success. For naming all the people.
Different
naming
viewpoint.
a bunch of people who've had success.
Okay,
who no one's questioning.
No one's questioning.
We don't celebrate criminals. We just don't question success. Well, I think some people celebrate criminals. There's a whole lot of that going on.
That's an interesting perspective, though.
Yeah, I think
it's an interesting perspective, but we do.
People question the success. They do, but they still celebrate them. They're doing it all. They're celebrating it. They're questioning it. They were muttering something under the breath, but they always showing up to any party that you have. So it's hypocrisy.
Where did that "all for me, baby" phrase come from? Do you remember?
We'll talk off here.
Okay. Yeah, we got to be careful here. I don't want to get to it, but I want to know. Okay.
We'll talk off here. Oh boy, you trying to get. Anyway, there's no explanation worldwide. They don't even what's happening. They don't even capture hardened criminals by opening fire through a window. Something is wrong in the police force and clearly possible other arms of government. This was the next thing we need to know is the terms of reference for the international people who are coming into assist. We don't know who they are or anything yet.
Yeah, but I think we should say because they tried to clear it up to say that he was shot and then later the police came to kind of like differentiate.
Well, I mean, apparently in the many hour live you will see it.
So she called for police help, and it wasn't necessarily police that shot him.
We don't know who shot
him. So, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone shot through the window.
Right. Okay.
Let's take one more call before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can.
Good morning to both of you. Happy Independence.
Hi,
Happy Independence.
My comments are not as strong as the former caller, but I'll vote for the UBP at any time now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you still there?
Breathe, and let's take that call.
Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well.
Good to your guest also.
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say, right? But if you can get to somebody you can trust inside the police force and you talk with them, you would be shocked to know how far up top this incident goes. Trust me. Find somebody in the police force you can trust, you can talk to, and see what you come up with. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
All right. Some more messages. That guy is a fool for showing his face and talking all that whatever. He mentioned one of the most notorious killers in the Bahamas. It's expected that he's a dead man walking no matter where he is. Besides, he's not that innocent himself. Don't read all. Yeah, I know exactly. I'll tell her off here. Sad to say, but the person in particular who sent out the voice note seems to be bogged down in criminality. Now he is seeking a way out. He doesn't seem to care who goes down with him. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So, are we disputing the actual voice notes? Or has he just released them?
No.
Yeah, he released them.
I don't think
many of us heard them.
I mean, the commissioner, we're going to play that piece for you in a moment. The commissioner talked about authenticating and that kind of stuff, but just to make sure.
Right.
But I mean, it's serious enough that the
right.
there is an investigation. Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, continue to call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us.
Text us.
Text us 422-4796. All right. Let's read this one here. Oh man, I don't understand. See, this is part of the problem. The things that something happened to this country, the culture, where people just don't. I don't know what they think talk radio is. That you could maybe because of social media, people get on Facebook Live and whatever, just say anything they want.
Right.
Just the first thing they call names, they just do whatever,
right?
And don't care. And I guess nobody has the time, in most cases, to go after them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different for commercial radio. You got to be very careful. Let's not try to impugn
especially
someone's
if you have an
reputation.
influential voice. To be like being a popular radio show that a lot of people listen to, that could be an influence, and so it's important to have those guidelines.
This person says here, why didn't you say the names? Again, we don't know who the international partners are yet.
Right.
So you calling off some names is not necessarily who they are. That's one of the questions people have, right? So it's not. You got to go to school. You got to bring in. We're gonna have a whole week of how to avoid having lawyers harass you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we need to do. Let's take a break, folks. We're going to pick this up on the other side. This is not quite the independence we wanted to have. This is, again, a very dark cloud over the whole country. Just, and I don't think anyone's surprised, but
I wouldn't say surprised, but I would say naive too. Because
I don't even think anyone was naive to it. It's just that
so.
It's so much coming to light, and worse than some people thought it was.
Yeah.
And then the people who were like gloating and like, I told you it was this bad. I mean, you're part of the problem too, right? Because you knew it was this bad. I know you're afraid and you didn't want to say too much because you might get yourself targeted. But this is not a time to gloat. We're in a big problem.
Yeah, in a bad state.
Very, very, very bad. For a tiny little place where half the people around you are snakes. It's scary. We'll be back.
Independence morning is like a baby born in. Independence morning is like a baby born in.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley.
A lot of people will be watching as President Biden hosts the NATO summit, which begins today in Washington. And they'll be watching not just because it's a meeting of world leaders. The AP's Donna Warder.
American University International Relations professor James Goldgeier says Biden has something to prove at the gathering.
He's trying to use the summit to demonstrate the tremendous leadership that he's shown since he came into office in 2021. But he's definitely weakened by the performance in the debate.
Biden points to his work rallying NATO members and its stiff response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine as a prime example of his steady leadership. He told MSNBC on Monday, "Who else do you think can step in here and do this?" Donna Warder, Washington.
Former President Trump is back on the campaign trail today, rallying supporters at his golf resort in the Miami area. He's nearing a deadline to announce a running mate. Hurricane Beryl downgraded to a tropical depression after it slammed into the Houston area. Power's beginning to come back now for some of the millions who lost it. Sergio Sanchez tells KTRK-TV in Houston he's lucky his house wasn't destroyed.
There's people here, they probably have to rebuild their house from the bottom up, to us, just having a broken window and a little bit of the roof fly off, their house is gone.
Sergio Sanchez in Texas. Beryl set off what may have been tornadoes in Louisiana and tornado warnings in Arkansas. The searing heat wave baking large parts of the nation also led to record daily high temperatures in Oregon, where it's suspected to cause at least 4 deaths in the Portland area. More than 146 million people around this country were under heat alerts yesterday, especially in western states. This is AP News. United Airlines says it's investigating an incident in which a wheel flew off a plane during takeoff. The AP's Lisa Dwyer.
Authorities say United Airlines Boeing jet lost a main landing gear wheel while taking off from Los Angeles. The jet later landed safely in Denver. The airline says there were no reported injuries on the ground or on board Flight 1001. The wheel was recovered in Los Angeles. The Boeing 757-200 was carrying 174 passengers and 7 crew members. And it's the second time a United Boeing jet has lost a tire in the past few months. In March, a United Boeing B777-200 jet lost a tire mid-air after takeoff from San Francisco. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Americans are increasingly skeptical about the value and cost of college, according to a new poll released by Gallup. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
It's time for your first good traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Remember, find your loan solution with RBC. In your traffic, okay, so they've finally paved East Bay Street near the bridge, so that after many, many weeks, that is great, good news. That apparently happened over the weekend, so keep that in mind if you're in that part of the island. In your real-time traffic this morning, we're seeing a bit of congestion on Wide Butler Highway, just north of Fire Trail as you approach Harold Pond in the northbound lanes there. Elsewhere, not looking so bad. Are people going to work today? I don't even know. Getting ready for the celebrations tonight. Oh, yeah? Getting ready for the celebrations tonight and for Independence. So keep that in mind. There are likely going to be a lot of issues down in the Clifford Park area for the ecumenical service this evening. But that is your first look at traffic this morning, brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you. Let's get a quick look of your weather brought to you by Easy Car Sales. We've got troughing near the northwest Bahamas. That's going to support some cloudiness and increased shower activity. Meanwhile, high pressure across the area will maintain mostly stable conditions, along with gentle to locally fresh breezes. We've got a number of advisories, warnings in place. A heat advisory in effect for the Bahamas. It's recommended that you stay hydrated, wear loose-fitting clothing, and limit prolonged outdoor activity, especially during peak sunshine hours, as heat indices are expected to be in the triple digits. Boaters and mariners should be alert for rip currents along eastern shorelines in the southeast Bahamas, and there's a layer of Saharan dust that's going to continue to move across the central and now south-northwest Bahamas, and that may impact people with allergies and respiratory issues. Keep that in mind. Another hot day in store today. That's your look at weather, brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Easy Car Sales invites you to be part of Generation E. Drive electric. Everyone is welcome. Visit IamGenerationE.com.
Independence morning is like a baby morning. Independence.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:26, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. We've got a lot going on. We've got troughing near the northwest Bahamas that's going to support some cloudiness and increased shower chances, while high pressure across the area will maintain mostly stable conditions, along with gentle to locally fresh breezes. A number of warnings. Heat advisories in effect for the country. It's recommended that you stay hydrated, wear loose-fitting clothing, and limit outdoor activities, especially during peak sunshine hours, as heat indices will reach the triple digits. Boaters and beachgoers should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents, especially along eastern shorelines in the southeast Bahamas. Lastly, a layer of Saharan dust will continue to move across the central and northwest Bahamas, and that's going to affect people with allergies and severe respiratory issues, so keep that in mind for the next few days. So for today, for the northwest Bahamas, variably cloudy, hot, and humid, with isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the extreme northern islands. Partly cloudy, very warm, and humid tonight with a few showers and possible thunderstorms. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, hot, and a bit breezy with a stray shower or two. Mainly fair, very warm, and muggy tonight. Small craft caution in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Temperature-wise, we're looking at highs getting up to around 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. The heat index will make you feel like it's 106 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. In your extended outlook, persistent upper mid to upper troughing will continue to support cloudiness and shower activity over the northwest Bahamas. Surface ridging along with residual Saharan dust will maintain hot and hazy conditions over the central and southeastern islands. So for tomorrow, Independence Day, we're looking at variably cloudy and hot conditions, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly in the extreme northwest Bahamas. Partly cloudy, hot, and humid elsewhere, with a few showers and possible thunderstorms. A bit breezy in the southeastern islands. For Thursday, variably cloudy, hot, with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly in the extreme northwestern islands. Partly cloudy, hot, and humid elsewhere, with a few showers possible. A bit breezy in the southeastern islands. That is your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And at 8:29, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. Just a reminder, folks, Independence celebrations at Clifford Park, and so you want to keep that in mind this evening as you make your way around. So there could be some delays in some parts of the island. In your real-time traffic right now, we're seeing heavy traffic on Mile Butler Highway from just north of Fire Trail straight through to near the roundabout with Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Elsewhere, we've got Carmichael seeing some building traffic eastbound to Blue Hill Road and Soldier Road looking busy for you as you get closer to the intersection with Wolf Village and Bernard Road. But a pretty smooth commute for you this morning. People probably going in a little later than they normally do. And getting ready for tonight and tomorrow, the holiday tomorrow. That's your Morning Blend traffic brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you.
RBC will find the right loan for all of you with competitive rates and extended terms to suit you. Whether it's for debt consolidation, your next vehicle, or home purchase, sometimes we all need a little more. No matter the reason for the loan, we're here to help you find the solution. RBC. RBC has all the loans for all of you. Let's start with a conversation today.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's Pension Plan, Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan, dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's Pension Plan, Island Game, we got you. Percy's Pension Plan, from the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, go play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
Now let me see now. 326 ETIC. Hello? This Epic Eckert Battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Come on, and support the District Grand Lodge of the Bahamas Grand Raffle at the Scottish Masonic Food Festival 2024. Saturday, July 13, 12 noon until. Prizes and surprises throughout, including $3,000 cash prize.
Say what?
Dinner for two at Albany. A weekend stay at Margaritaville. And just when you thought it could get no better, you can win a brand new car. Yeah, that's right, a brand new car at the Scottish Masonic Food Festival, Saturday, July 13th. Dolphin Drive.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Independence Highlight brought to you by Janae's, Brass and Leather, Original Parties, McCarthy Pharmacy, Royal Fidelity, Paradise Games, and Nassau Flight Services.
The Commonwealth of the Bahamas was established by an Act of the British Parliament which was passed on June 20th, 1973, and took effect in the early hours of July 10th, 1973, when thousands on Clifford Park witnessed for the first time the raising of the Bahamian flag after the Union Jack was lowered for the last time in this land, ending 325 years of British rule.
Independence Highlight brought to you by Janae's, Brass and Leather, Original Parties, McCarthy Pharmacy, Royal Fidelity, Paradise Games, and Nassau Flight Services.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
I
Happy Independence Bahamas! Let's celebrate 50 plus 1 together with a unique Janae's Uniform Center Independence print, dry fit polo or t-shirts, ribbons and pole bows in black, gold, and aquamarine. Janae's special family package includes buy 2 adults and 3 children Independence polos or t-shirts and get 15% off. Outfit your staff for a special Independence dress of week or day with a different design. For more than 30 pieces of Janae's Independence polos or t-shirts, get up to 25% discount. Janae's Uniform Center Chesapeake Road Independence Selections. Choose your favorite and celebrate 50 plus 1. Restrictions apply.
Are you ready to elevate your day with a burst of flavor? Look no further than Dunkin', your ultimate destination for everything delicious. From our freshly brewed coffee that is sure to pick you up, to our signature frozen beverages that will cool you down. And don't forget our mouth-watering sandwiches, made to order all day. Dunkin' has it all. And of course, our lineup of fresh donuts, muffins, and more. Dive into a world of yummy flavors at Dunkin' and bring joy to your day. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Independence Highlight brought to you by Janae's, Brass and Leather, Original Patties, McCarthy Pharmacy, Royal Fidelity, Paradise Games, and Nassau Flight Services.
The general election of September 1972 was contested with the understanding that a victory for the Progressive Liberal Party would begin the process of national independence for the Bahamas. Therefore, beginning in early December 1972, the PLP, headed by Lyndon Pindling, and the FNM, headed by Kendall Isaacs, led a delegation to London to discuss an independence constitution with the British government. Because the Bahamas already had the 1964 and 1969 constitutions, there was no need to start afresh, so 90% of the issues regarding independence were agreed upon by both political parties before leaving for London.
Independence Highlight brought to you by Janae's, Brass and Leather, Original Patties, McCarthy Pharmacy, Royal Fidelity, Paradise Games, and Nassau Flight Services.
Age ain't nothing but a number, they say. Whether you're a baby boomer or a Gen X, Y, or Z, Easy Car Sales invites you to be part of the new Generation E. We drive electric for the savings, for the planet, and most importantly, for the smooth, powerful ride. You really can have it all. We love our EV, and we are Generation E. Join us. Everyone is welcome. Visit IamGenerationE.com to find out more. Brought to you by Easy Car Sales.
I'm Theodore Campbell, Chief Superintendent of Police within the Royal Bahamas Police Force. There was a cousin of mine who was the leader of one of the biggest gangs in this country during the early 90s. The gang that he was a part of tried to recruit all of us. I did not join because I was kept involved in positive activities. I saw what worked, what didn't work, and just was able to utilize all of the gifts and talents over the years to impact young persons' lives throughout our nation. Every single individual has the freedom to choose. But if you choose light, these are the benefits. If you choose darkness, these are the results of your choice. I've seen music bring young persons from gangs through a trumpet, through a clarinet, through a drum. Conflicts will come, circumstances will come. We just have to be consistent, dedicated, and committed with our young persons. Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
Here's the show-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah. We also have airbrush paint. I don't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Boiled shrimp,
clays.
stew shrimp, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find color in every day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Independent Bahamas, 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 independent Bahamas, Bahamas, for independence, independent Bahamas, Bahamas, independent Bahamas, Bahamas, Bahamas.
We now get together, brothers and sisters, to join in unity for independence.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Duquesne Dean on this Independence Eve. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about the Small Island Sustainability Research Project, the GTR Campbell Small Island Sustainability Research Project. Details about that in just a few minutes. All right, so we want to continue just for a few more minutes about what the big story is today. This just wild situation caught on Facebook Live with the whistleblower, with the audio, the voice notes have been going around that have prompted now this police investigation into the head of the Criminal Investigation Department. All right, so we're going to get to the press conference that the police held yesterday. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But before we do, we were having some issues this morning. People are thinking that they should be allowed to say any and everything they want to say. And we can't do that. And some of you are making some really crazy claims. But also you seem to be confused about little things that I'm doing, not understanding why. So I guess we're going to have a class today. So listen to this. This is in today's Nassau Guardian, right? The commissioner said 2 international entities from the United Kingdom and the United States will also assist in the investigation to ensure the probe is independent, impartial, and fair. But Commissioner Fernander refused to disclose who the international entities are. That's from the Nassau Guardian. Let me read it from the Tribune, right? So Fernander said law enforcement teams from the United States and the United Kingdom are willing to help to ensure the independence and impartiality of the investigation. He did not reveal the partners, but the Tribune understands officials have reached out to Scotland Yard. The Tribune understands that. We don't know if that is true. But the commissioner did not say who they are. So a text was sent earlier asking, I'm going to read this now. Unfortunately, I have to read it now because the person's not getting it. They're defiant, saying that they want to know the terms of reference for the FBI and Scotland Yard. Right? And I left that part out because nobody said the FBI or Scotland Yard. Dwight, why didn't you read FBI and Scotland Yard? What's defamatory about that? Nobody said that. You are making assumptions, right? I don't need to put that out there. I don't understand why I have to explain this, but I don't need to put that out there. You're making assumptions. It might not be. It might be, right? That's why I didn't read it, because why am I saying something that was not said?
Right.
I'm trying to be responsible, but you don't want that because everything around here is buck up as you go and everybody does anything they want. The whole country is set up this way. When somebody tries to do the right thing, you get...
Right.
Do you get it, though? Do you understand why? It might be. Probably it is.
But it wasn't
But it was never stated.
Factually.
I'm not going to say that because he didn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have to explain this? Are you 10? Are you 12 sending this text? Who are you? But this is the type of stuff. And then people say, well, you need to let people express themselves. No, because you're putting stuff out there that isn't true. And people say, I heard it on the radio. But you heard somebody's stupid opinion. It's dangerous. And that's the thing everyone will hear. They won't hear the truth or that was never said. They'll always believe that somebody said this and that was what was the issue. And we have too many situations like this in this country today.
Agree.
So we need everybody to grow up and be a little more responsible.
And state the facts. And as new facts become available, then you can add to those facts.
But now everyone's going to say FBI at Scotland Yard. Because he said it on the show this morning. Yeah, right. Ah, boy. Okay, let's listen to this. This is from the press conference yesterday. This is what Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander was saying. Listen to this report from our Vani Katut.
Results will not come overnight, but rest assured, the investigation is being rigorously pursued. It will not disappear out the back door. It will not disappear out the back door.
Days after viral voice notes prompted Central Investigation Department Chief Michael Johnson to take garden leave, Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander announced the selection of a team to investigate explosive claims. He promised the public a thorough and transparent investigation, which will be supported by international partners.
A selected team from the Security and Intelligence Branch has been assembled to lead this investigation. The existing independent inspectorate board will be involved in a supervisory role. We are in communication with international partners in the UK and the US who have indicated their willingness to support us, ensuring the investigation is independent, impartial, and fair.
The voice notes allegedly capture separate phone calls that a man who identifies himself as Mikey has with two men about turning himself in. In one of those conversations, another man on the call says he is hesitant to talk on the phone, but he is willing to meet with someone else on the matter after work.
We have heard the recordings of phone calls on social media, recordings. Investigation are already on the way to determine the reliability, understand when, where, and by whom they were made, identify all voices, and explore clues in the surrounding sounds.
Fernando told reporters everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. However, he said there may be instances where individuals fall short of the standard of the police force.
This is painful, especially if found within senior ranks. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody is above the law.
Fernando said he understands his case affects public trust, but insisted that no individual or group will be allowed to drag down the reputation of the police force.
Chief Superintendent Johnson has been placed on garden leave to ensure that the investigation can be conducted without any interference. During this time, Chief Superintendent Anton Ramin is right to my right. He will assume his responsibility to maintain the seamless operation of our department and uphold public safety.
Assistant Commissioner Roberto Goodman is now responsible for crime, which includes the Drug Enforcement Unit, Homicides and Missing Persons Unit, as ACP Warren Johnson enters pre-retirement leave. When questioned about the possibility of this matter calling into question other cases overseen by Johnson, the commissioner said this.
All of the matters that is presently before the court, the integrity of those cases are intact. No decision is made by one person. We have our DPP office who continue to work hand in hand.
Fernando also responded to allegations made online that officers have given the location of individuals being electronically monitored to hitmen.
All of that, what is put out there in the public, will be a part of this investigation. I saw what you saw. I saw it on circulating as well.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonnie Toot.
Okay. Well, let's get your reaction to all of it, folks. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. I know a lot of people going through a lot of emotions. I can see it in the text messages. People disappointed in the country, disappointed with everybody, not trusting anybody. Just again, right before independence, just not the right what you want to hear from people.
Right.
But this is some bleak times.
You know, just now I had the thought that we often become disappointed when our leaders, whether it be national leaders or church leaders or wherever people are leading, fall short. And I mean, who makes up these bodies? Who makes up, it's, Bahamians, it's people. It's individual people that make up all of these different bodies. And if we have issues in our society with people that have questionable characters or that lack integrity, or, you have people that are upright and good standing, because you have both mixes. You have the good, the bad, the ugly, and the very, very ugly that make up community. They also make up all of these organizations that work. Where we go to work, they are on our police force, they are in our churches, they are in the political arena. And so, at the end of the day, the reflection of who we are as a community is what's seen in those spaces and places. And that's why it comes back to people really taking an individual approach to looking in the mirror and seeing the ways that all of us contribute in some way or another to how things have spiraled out of control over the last 51 years. Because, tacit approval is still approval. When you say nothing or do nothing, it gives approval. And so we just, it's time for us to really sit down and take a look at what is truly happening and not an image of what we believe, keeping our heads either buried in the sand or in the clouds, and looking at the true reality of what we face. And even if it's a big elephant, eat it bit by bit and do the right things.
Yeah. Wow. Let's take this call, and then we'll get back to your text messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning to both of you in the studio, Seattle and Johnson.
Morning.
Dwight, it's just one thing that concerns me about that interview yesterday was this limit on the questions. We're back to this limit on the questions that reporters can ask the commissioner. And if he doesn't answer the question in the context for which it was asked, you don't have an opportunity to follow up on it. I just wonder why the media continues to allow leaders, political, police, or otherwise, to dictate to them and act as public relations as opposed to pressing and inquiring questions. Maybe the media should decide that if they want public relations, they should hire one, and if they want to be interviewed by the media, to face the music and answer the questions. Competence allows you to answer the questions without conflict. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right, very good point. I agree with you entirely. Yeah, well, that's why you see in other jurisdictions the media will be shouting questions at you because since we're going to throw it out there anyway, you choose to walk away from the question and let everyone see that.
Correct.
On camera that you are dodging the question. But yeah, we do have to take a stand. Absolutely agree. All right, this texter says here, oh boy, okay. Yikes. These are rough. These are rough. This texter says, I think that the worst of all is that there are folks in both parties and on the force. They're genuinely good people, but say nothing when they see the darkness. This is why they collectively get called corrupt and dishonorable. The phrase about evil prevailing because good people do nothing is most appropriate for our collective state. Yeah, that is very true. Very true. More calls for folks to resign, especially the commissioner. Another one here says, I'm sure that the commissioner said that international partners were contacted. Do we assume that this means the police force has asked for help? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said they spoke to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to assist to ensure the probe is independent, impartial, and fair. That's what he said. This texter says here, good morning, nothing substantive will come from this. If the evidence wasn't overwhelming, they never would have investigated. If it wasn't for the whistleblower, we maybe would have heard about this case after the results of the international investigation was vetted by the government. They will find some way to legally dismiss the evidence, trivialize the crime, or find some loophole to escape punishment. I remember making a complaint against a low-ranking officer years ago. It took me 2 weeks of nagging just to get the corruption unit to even talk to him. Imagine the coverage this very senior officer will get. Wow. Oh, boy. It's all coming to a head, all these guys being killed who are being monitored. Yeah, this is some serious claims. Again, okay, but anyway. Could you all stop acting like the Bahamas is made up of a monolith? Like we all act and think alike. There are crooks in power, and the community did not create them into the crooks that they turned out to be. Well, I think the community
helped.
Community definitely had a hand.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because people see it from an early age that you're going astray, but people just often
Well, absolutely. And then people
smile and
people do what they see too. So there are examples that have also been set that people just follow as well.
yeah. This is the same person again. I'm corrected. It was someone else who mentioned the FBI and Scotland Yard. Boy. Oh, boy. But the same question remains, as the commissioner said, he reached out for help from the U.S. and the UK on the investigation. What are the terms of reference? Okay, yes. What are the terms of reference for this international assistance? Do they have full investigative power, or are they restricted in what they can do? Yes, those are very good questions. Those are very good questions. All right, the voice note sparks an investigation. Now the person is shot in another country. Something very serious is afoot. Definitely needs outside help. Definitely needs FBI or Scotland Yard. Somebody else. Okay. Wait till this hits the New York Times. Well, what? Okay, what difference? Maybe a few years ago that would have been like, whoa, but I don't know about today. But anyway, sure. With all this going on, how come no one came on the show to discuss independence celebrations? Well, you don't listen every day then. You should have. They were here last week. We went through the whole list of all the things. And you can go on our social media, go on Facebook, Morning Blend Facebook or Twitter, X, and see the list. We had them on, and they talked about it. So, yeah. But they're saying we don't even see posters about what's going on. I think people are still...
I think last year, because it was so hype, it was the 50th, and it was so hype, it seems more quiet this year, but it's 51. So last year was like a big thing.
Yeah. So,
Maybe that's why.
Perhaps. Dwight, stop playing crackhead games. Different person. You're contradicting yourself. The same whistleblower was seen on Live with Guns blazing on camera. He's a criminal himself. I didn't say he wasn't. This is like everything else. This will disappear when the next big thing happens. Well, this is why you have to take what he has said, and the audit. You have to take things with a grain of salt. He's not a saint, clearly.
Yeah.
But this is not a good look. But who knows who else is out to get him? Maybe not just as he claims. That's the first thing he says after getting shot when the police comes, right? He says, behave me, government. That's what he said.
But is it factual?
But
yes.
Oh, boy. The commissioner's statement that no decision is made on any case by one individual holds no water, seemingly according to the recorded conversation. This one individual... who was in a powerful position sought to affect the outcome of investigations. I should have read this just now. Boy. It is fair to ask for everything that came out of the department to be scrutinized. Yes. Okay, and just a couple more, and then we'll got to take a quick break. This person says here, the reason good police say nothing is because they will be victimized hard.
Well, that's true.
Victimized hard is an interesting way to put it. Terms of reference is a common listing of responsibilities when seeking external aid. Or you tell the consultants what they can and cannot do. What can the international law enforcement individuals do or not do? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, everybody's got a story. This is wild. Let's take this call really quickly, and we're going to go to the break after that. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning. There's a running joke that says if you basically take someone under witness protection, it's like hiding a chicken inside KFC. And I think those cases where those witnesses went missing or were killed back in the day, because we've heard of them, you guys have reported on them, very many of them were killed. That's also a case that needs to be reopened. Because the idea that this gentleman is speaking about the ankle monitoring bracelets, and now he's, I don't know, whatever happened to him opens a whole can of worms. And I don't think the commissioners should be involved in investigating this case at all. Everyone at the top brass of the police force should be investigated at this point, because there's a whole can of worms that's been opened because of these incidents now.
It seems so. Yeah, thank you very much. Seems so. All right, and this final call here. Good morning. You are on the air. Hi, good morning. Yeah, let's take that one. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Dwight. Morning. Hope all is well. And the question, good morning.
Morning.
The Bahamian public has been asking for international help, especially in the law enforcement agencies, in a lot of the things that happens in this country. And I think a lot of persons would be satisfied in the knowledge that Commissioner Clayton Fernando has indeed heard that call, especially if it's a case that he feels is going to absorb a whole lot of time to try to get to the bottom of this matter. Taking the police force itself out of the scrutiny that the entire force is corrupt. But you got a few bad apples or potential bad apples to try weed them out to bring the credibility back to the force at the level that we all expect it to be. I think he made a very, very great move. Now, I heard the person in closing saying that perhaps the commissioner should not be involved in this investigation. But I think that would definitely be a mistake for him not to have a hands-on in terms of having first-hand knowledge of what's going on during the investigation, so he can make sure bring back or help to bring back the credibility that he looks under his tenure to give the force once again. So I applaud him for that. Thanks for taking my call this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a break for news. When we come back, I'm going to change gears a bit. We're going to get details on the GTR Campbell Small Island Sustainability Research Project, and we're going to talk some more about what it means to be proud to be a Bahamian. Is that even possible anymore? We're going to get into that. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
We now get together, brothers and sisters, to join in unity for independence.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean. And this morning, we're going to be talking about being proud to be Bahamian. We're going to get into that in the second half of this hour. But first, we're talking about some important research that's going on. It's the GTR Campbell Small Island Sustainability Research Project. Here to tell us all about this, we're very pleased to have with us Assistant Professor of Biology at the University of the Bahamas, Tanya Sims. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Happy Independence.
Same to you.
All right, so tell us about this. Well, what exactly is this, and what's the GTR Campbell Small Island Sustainability Project all about?
Okay, so what it is, what I'm trying to do is look at how females migrated into the Bahamas. Specifically, I want to see what role the slave trade had in female migrations. Mm-hmm. And to do that, I look at the mitochondrial DNA. DNA is basically your cell's blueprint. It tells your cells what proteins to make. Females in their egg have what's called mitochondrial DNA. So even males get mitochondrial DNA from their mother. And I can use this. Over time, the DNA changes. And you can use this to see how or where this DNA originally came from. So that's kind of what I'm interested in. I've always been interested in seeing if there are any remnants of the Arawak Indians left in our genetic imprint, in our gene pool, I should say.
So that's the main reason why you're doing
That's how I got started.
Okay.
That's why I went and did my PhD.
Okay.
So I for my PhD, I looked at paternal migrations, and I also looked at another marker system, and I found some very interesting results. And I want to now see if the female migrations oppose the male migrations or if they're similar. And ultimately, this is a smaller or a stepping stone to a bigger project. And that bigger project is to sample the other islands in the Bahamas and to see if we can see genetic signals from the Ahanta in Ghana.
Right.
Yes.
Because you've been hearing a lot about it. All right, so take us back a bit. Tell us what you did find with the paternal research.
Okay. So with the paternal, what I found was the male migrations into the island matched what happened with the loyalists. What I mean by that is on those islands, for instance, Exuma, where when cotton failed, the loyalists there were wealthy, and they were able to leave the plantations to the slaves. So I see a predominantly West Central African genetic signal in that island. I think it was like 98%. But another island like Long Island, the loyalists that went there, unfortunately, were too poor. They couldn't leave when cotton failed. So they ended up staying there and mixing with the African females. And so their gene pool had about, I think it was 78 or 80% European for the paternal. So I see kind of opposing, it kind of matches what happened with the loyalists.
Right.
So I want to see if an island like Long Island, I see now that the gene pool for the females is now predominantly African, which is what I expect. What am I going to see in somewhere like Exuma? Am I going to see the same thing, predominantly African? And when you do research like this, sometimes you find the strangest things, like things you're not expecting. For instance, with one of the marker systems that I used, I found Long Island had an East Asian component.
Really?
And I found, I believe it was either Grand Bahama or Eleuthera, but I think it was Grand Bahama. They had a Native American component.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes you just find stuff that you're not expecting.
Tell us more about that, how that manifests itself.
Right.
How do you see that, and how widespread do you think that is?
I saw it only in Grand Bahama, but sampling was kind of limited. You know what I mean? So this time I'm trying to get a whole lot more samples and see if I see that same Native American input in the maternal migrations. I saw it in the gene pool of, we call it autosomal, which is both male and female, what you get from both parents mixed. But when I looked at just the Y chromosome, which is male, I didn't see it. So am I now going to see it when I look at the female migrations?
And it wasn't a one-off. It wasn't one person.
No.
This is multiple people.
Yeah, it was about, I think, 3% of the gene pool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you tell which tribe it might have been, or no? But it's just something unique with Native Americans. Very interesting.
Very.
Yeah.
And back to the East Asian component. What can you tell us about that?
Later on, there's been a lot of people kind of migrating, trying to get to the U.S. They may have popped over into Long Island. There was always this Long Island, Cuba hypothesis. So maybe they came from Cuba. Because Long Island's gene pool for the paternal actually looks very similar to Cuba in the genetic composition. So,
interesting.
Yeah. And then I found another, we call it allele. It's a specific mutation. I found that, and that was only found in Madagascar. Wow. So I found some very interesting things that I was not expecting. And this is a chance for Bahamians to be a part of history, to get out there, put the Bahamas out there in the research world,
Very mixed up people, right?
Yes.
All right. So, what theories do you have as to what you'll find with more research on the maternal side?
I'm thinking it's going to be predominantly African. I mean, that's what I anticipate, but you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah.
I might find an Indian component that,
like India.
Yeah,
Right.
You just never know. I with the paternal, I did find a Serbian Y chromosome here. So it's just random.
Is that one person?
Yes, one person.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he was a Bahamian. So
and he looked like a regular Bahamian.
yes,
Right.
but apparently his grandfather. He looked mixed. His grandfather was actually white.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then I found some very old Y chromosomes, which were from Cameroon. Some very ancient Y chromosomes. And I found some that, so a set of mutations will define what's called a haplogroup, right? And one of the oldest haplogroup with the Y chromosome is haplogroup A. And that came directly from Africa, right? And I actually found one in Grand Bahama. I found one in Haiti and one in New Providence. And interestingly, we follow what's called a tree, which is a series of mutations to define a haplogroup. And we actually, the Bahamian population actually rewrote that part of the tree because it was incorrect. From what I found, it was totally incorrect. So we out there a little bit, but we really need to get out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So something you said and something the text is saying is causing me to ask this. All right. So you said the Native American group, but is that going to be different from an Arawak or Lucayan group?
So yes. So with the Y chromosome, you have specific mutations that are indigenous Native Americans. I didn't see that with the Y chromosome. I only saw it with the autosomal, which is both male and female mixed. So I'm hoping with the maternal migrations, I can tell that based on the haplogroup that they have. It would be something like a A, a B, a C, or a D. I can actually tell that with the maternal side.
Wow. All right, so this text is asking, what about the Native Indian descendants from Red Bays and Andros?
Well, that's why I said this is just a stepping stone. We plan to go to Grand Bahama. I think we have it set for Grand Bahama, Abaco, Andros. We want to go to Crooked Island. No, not Crooked Island. Cat Island, Long Island, Acklands, on either Ragged Island or Crooked Island. Those are some of the ones that we really want to sample. But the problem is you need money. Research costs money. And so if anybody out there is listening and feels the need to donate some money to this, go right ahead.
Tell us more about that. How much do you need and how will the money be used and how will it help you exactly?
Okay, so for the overall project where we sample the islands as well as Ghana, that's going to cost probably about $750,000.
Oh. Wow.
Yes, because you have to have travel to the islands, you have to have accommodations to the islands, and it's not just myself, it's 3 collaborators that are with me. I can't sample by myself, you know what I mean? So it costs money, and then a trip to Ghana to get samples from there. So it does cost money. The reagents that we need cost money. To bring them into country costs money. You know what I mean? So everything costs money. We have 2 of my collaborators are American, so we did put in for an American grant, but we actually didn't get it. And it's very slim to get it on the first try. So we're going to put in again and pray that we get it.
Right. All right. So we have a whole lot of questions for you, and our audience does as well. You can call folks 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, we'll get to you in a second. All right, so what do you need from us, the Bahamian people?
So,
what are you doing this week?
So on Thursday at UB in the GTR SIS Research Complex, if you come between 10 and 5, it's simply a mouth swab. I take it from both sides of the cheeks and some information about your parents, your parents, and your grandparents. And you sign a consent form. It'll ask you whether you want your sample to be destroyed at the end of the study or you want it stored for a similar type study in the future. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. And again, what are you going to be looking for specifically?
So I'm looking for, I say the maternal migrations, but again, it can be from male or female because you get mitochondrial DNA from your mother. It's one per family, so don't bring all your cousins because I could only sample one of you. You would have the same mitochondrial DNA. And I'm looking, I really need some UB students. Really, really need.
To take part or to?
Yes, to take part. Okay. To give samples. And any bio students that are interested in working on a research project, I need some hands.
Mm-hmm. So you're specifically looking for heritage.
Yes.
Right, so this isn't the type of DNA testing that is going
paternity,
to create,
right? This is just
let's just clarify, right? Because it may be a stumbling block for people, right? So this is is just for heritage.
Yes, and totally just ancestry. You will be assigned a number. So I will have your consent form and your genealogical form locked up in a cabinet. I will have it as a spreadsheet, but only me will have access to that. But for me, you're just a number. You will be 001 or 002, whatever. That's how I associate it with you.
But you'll be able to get the results. If I come back to you, I will know. And can you do both father and mother at the same time, or?
Father, we're going to do at a later time when we have money.
Okay.
So apart from ancestry, how is this going to benefit me? Like when I come and do a swab to get that information, what can I do with that for me now?
So when you get that information, it'll be a haplogroup. What that'll tell you is from which region of the world your mother's ancestors came from.
Okay.
I do have 20 family tree DNA kits left. And I set them aside specifically for some UB students because I really need some UB students. They are free of charge. That's just another mouth swab. And with that, you would get a profile. They would say, okay, well, out of your 100%, 90% is from West Africa. And they'll give you the specific tribe where you're from. And that kit normally costs about $150. But for the first 20 UB students that come, you will get it free of charge.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. All right. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Glen Business.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey, Chris Davis, John Canoe II here, man. So
good morning. Great to have you with us.
Yes, man. Just want to commemorate the good doctor on the work that she is doing. Of course, I'm very excited about any possible Ahanta linkages through the research I've been doing on John Canoe. But I just wanted to make one or two comments and then also a question. So I've seen a lot of these Bahamian DNAs, and that Madagascar one was one that struck me as well. But I am about 95% sure that is mostly surrounding the slave trading business of our first Royal Governor, Woodes Rogers, who was very much involved in the East India Company. And he was also a prolific slave trader as well as his son. In 1713, when he got in some trouble for some debt, in order to make up that debt, he took several hundred Africans from Madagascar to India. And that aspect of British slave trading is sometimes overlooked, particularly that our very own Woodes Rogers was one of the people central to that, right? So in my opinion, I think that's where that Madagascar DNA could come from, but it could also come from other lines as well. You know, it might have been in them before they even came to the Bahamas, right? Secondly, I noticed the indigenous American DNA, and that is one that's truly fascinating. So I know, for example, just to give one, we all know about Red Base, but we have several other places, you know, settlements throughout the Bahamas, like Cherokee Sound, for example. But the one that that interests me the most is actually Yamacraw. And what is often overlooked, particularly in U.S. history, is how African Americans or people of African descent amalgamated much more with indigenous Americans than Europeans did, right? And so for me, it's not surprising when you look at the Loyalist migration, particularly coming from the Savannah River area, speaking about people like William Wiley, and at the mouth of the Savannah River, there's a place called Yamacraw Village. And Amos Williams, one of the original founders of the Black Baptist Church, he himself was in fact identified as both indigenous and African, right? So I just find that completely fascinating. And then I'll just let you go after my one quick question. I've noticed in many DNA tests, you typically, and you know, I focus more on the African side, but I think it would be very fascinating. I would like to encourage Bahamians not to have it destroyed so we can continue tests, because what you find is there are many of us that I am assuming, as you find in many different countries, that could be linked not just to specific tribes, but to specific characters, right? And so, for example, we have a massive Mande, also known as Mandingo, population here in the Bahamas when you look at the transatlantic slave trade. And, of course, the very famous and well-known Mansa Musa was one of those, and it's rumored that he had over 1,000 children. So my question is, will it be possible to actually link Bahamians through these DNA, through this heritage testing that we're doing, to figures like a Mansa Musa, like a John Canoe of a Hunter, and others as well?
Not with this preliminary study, but when we get the funding for the much bigger study, yes, because it will be done at a much higher resolution.
Right,
but
okay.
I have very limited funding. I was lucky enough to, and I thank them very much, to be awarded the Wilson Award, which was $4,000 to get me started. But like I said, this is like a stepping stone. It is a much, much bigger project that we are trying to undertake. And it will be done at much, much higher resolution.
Wow, fascinating.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for letting me give my 5 cents.
Always. Christopher Davis, thank you so much. Appreciate you calling in.
Sir.
All right. Happy Independence.
Yeah, same to you. Same to you.
All right. All right, so we got some good questions here. Tanya Sims, someone's asking, why not have the folks send in their samples instead of you all traveling to them? I can think of some reasons why. but let's hear from you.
So we have to ensure that we actually collect enough DNA. You know what I mean? When somebody does it themselves, they may not swab as hard as we do, or they may not. The tubes need to be sterile, and there's a lot of different factors that come into play. So, I just prefer to do it myself. It doesn't take long. The longest part is actually getting the information from you, about your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah. All right. So can you elect to be kept and not have the sample?
Yes.
And then you can
So
do
that's
more
an option.
testing on and on.
Yes.
So I can find out more when you come back to do paternal. I can do that too, and I can find out everything.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. How safe will that be? Can people be concerned about their DNA ending up in some strange places?
No. So it'll be stored at UB in the genetics lab, which is under lock and key. And all the consent forms are stored in my office, which is stored in a locked cabinet. And my office door is typically locked when I'm not there. Okay. I shouldn't say typically. It's always locked when I'm not there.
Okay.
Even when I step out to go to the bathroom, I lock my door.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
This text says, wasn't there a DNA study done in 2005 or 2006? What was the result of that study?
So that was actually my PhD work.
Okay.
Yeah, so I collected samples along with the forensic department of the police force. they still have those samples. They were doing it for a DNA database. As far as I know, they still have them. But my work has been published. I published 4 papers on the Bahamas.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes.
So how many people are you looking for on Thursday, and where specifically should they come?
So I'm looking for whoever wants to donate. Like I said, I really need some UB students, but general population, I can always use your sample. The more, the better. This will be at UB, the main entrance. If you ask at the security gate, they'll guide you to the SIS complex. And I plan to have a table set up in the middle. So as soon as you come, you'll see a big table set up with chairs.
Okay. So what number of samples will give your research more credibility, or is that the right word?
Yes, yeah, more accuracy.
Right.
So we typically, there's a formula. It's typically 10% of the population.
Okay.
Initially, I set a goal of 200 samples.
Okay.
I've gotten from the general population 173 so far. But like I said, I still need 100 UB students. And if I can get as close to that 10% as I can, it would make the study a whole lot better.
Okay.
Particularly in New Providence, because we have representatives from all the different islands here. You know what I mean? So that's why we kind of started with New Providence.
Yeah.
And I live here, I work here.
Okay.
It's easy.
Well, why students?
Right. I just want to
what's
ask you, why
so-
UB students?
So I envision having some of UB students use this, the biology students use this as their capstone project. So they always have to do a research project at the end of their degree. And by having a general population and a UB population, they have something to compare. So that's why that's why I keep saying UB students, and I really want the UB students to be a part of the study as well. You know what I mean? This is research being done at their university. I want them to be involved.
Okay.
Yeah. How soon before you get the results? How long will it take?
So the study will take about a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you won't know.
You won't know right away.
Oh boy.
Some persons have done the family tree DNA, and those samples that were collected not in the last couple weeks, but when we were at the mall, those samples already went to family tree DNA. The ones that were collected in the last 2 weeks, and the ones the 20 that I have left for Thursday for the UB students, they will get their results probably in September.
Okay. Oh boy, I was thinking by the end of the summer I could be bragging about
No,
which part of.
I need manpower.
Oh.
If I have manpower, you can get them quick.
Yeah.
But it's me, and I got to work.
Okay, so like seriously, like how many people you need, and
I mean,
do they need
people
any
are
skills?
interested,
And
yeah.
skills?
Yeah. So there will be once I find the students, because I really want students to be a part of this, and they're able to set aside a day or two, they will be trained on how to do the techniques. And once I feel that they're, trained well enough and they have the skills that they need, then they'll be able to do this for their capstone project.
Okay.
Okay. And that's the swabbing and.
No, the next step.
Okay. Okay.
The swabbing
is easy.
Is easy.
Right.
The next step is to extract the DNA from
Okay.
the swabs. And then we have to quantify it to know how much is there. And then we have to PCR it. PCR is polymerase chain reaction. Basically, that's going to take a big 3 billion base pairs of DNA and cut it down into about 1,200 bases that we're interested in. And then we have to sequence it.
Okay.
So it's a lengthy
Special
process.
skills, yeah.
Right.
PCR gave me anxiety just now.
Yeah, I was saying, I know those letters when they mentioned, oh boy, but not related to, that C word thing, right? No, okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, you're on the air. Are you there, caller? No? Okay. All right. All right. So remind folks what they need to do on Thursday there.
So Thursday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. we'll be at the SIS GTR Research Complex. It's kind of in the back of UB. If you exit the security gate, they'll guide you. There'll be a table set up in the middle section, so you'll see. And basically, we would need you to rinse out your mouth before we collect the swab, just to make sure there's no food. And
you'll provide the rinse, or
there's a restroom, but I do provide it.
Mm-hmm.
I provide a cup of water. Some people prefer to go in the restroom.
Okay.
Whatever's more comfortable for them. Then we'll ask you a series of questions about your ethnicity, your age, date of birth, that type of thing, and then about your parents and your grandparents.
Okay.
And then we'll have you sign 2 consent forms, one of which will be given to you and one of which we will keep. And on that consent form, there's an option to check to destroy your sample at the end of the study or to store it for future samples like this one. And we encourage people to store it because we want to do high resolution studies with your work, with your samples.
Okay.
So if you don't know your father or mother,
it doesn't matter.
If you don't know that information,
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whatever you know,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
we'll take.
All right, so you, our final minute here, you heard what we were talking about before. The people are on edge today and always. Talk about corruption and all the stuff. So we got a whole bunch of people who are paranoid about what you're going to do with their DNA and whether the police will be involved.
No.
Some want the police involved, some don't want the police involved. So they're very scared.
This is simply a research study.
Oh my.
Your samples will be under lock and key. Only me and whatever students are working with me while I'm there will have access to them.
I don't trust the students either.
I say while I'm there. I'm paranoid. I don't like to leave DNA samples lying around because I know what can be done with them. So I would never do that to anybody because I know.
Yeah.
I know people are paranoid. I know. I'm the same way. Sometimes when I'm chewing gum, I have to think where I can put this gum because I know somebody could go in the garbage and get my DNA off the gum.
Lock you into when crimes in.
Exactly. So I know what can be done because part of my training is a little bit in forensics.
Okay.
So I know what can be done, and I know I'm paranoid as well. So
okay,
but I feel we're in good hands with you, Doc.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Sims. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
It sounds really interesting. I'd love to find
Awesome.
out more. So I think I'm gonna pay you a little visit.
Awesome.
And you'll be students, turn up, show up.
Yeah, man.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
10 to 5 on Thursday.
Thursday.
At the GTR.
We give you a whole holiday in between to rest up, so you could come bright and early Thursday morning.
Okay.
And like I said, there's 20 kits, free kits for our UB students, for the first 20 UB students.
All right, wonderful.
Thank
you so much. Keep up the great
Thank
work.
you.
Keep us posted,
Yeah, I
updated
will.
on
I
what you
will.
found out.
I
And
will. Yes.
come back and tell us our
As soon
results.
as we get the results, we plan to do like a community, like a forum in the community, so persons know what we found, and then they can get their individualized haplogroup if they want.
Great.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Great conversation. Great,
Good
especially on
conversation.
this Independence Eve. We'll be back with a whole lot more. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
I don't go in water, I just go to boat fight with somebody's daughter. I like it what I hear, the love. Yeah. You should know I'm a Bahamian from the Bahamas. It's the place you vacation. Slime domino every occasion.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Age ain't nothing but a number, they say. Whether you're a baby boomer or a Gen X, Y, or Z, Easy Car Sales invites you to be part of the new Generation E. We drive electric for the savings, for the planet, and most importantly, for the smooth, powerful ride. You really can have it all. We love our EV and we are Generation E. Join us. Everyone is welcome. Visit IamGenerationE.com to find out more. Brought to you by Easy Car Sales.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
It's a Scotia Plan Loan Summer. With Scotiabank, you can chase your summer vacation, swing into your home renovation, and slide on back to school with ease. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan and benefit from competitive rates, flexible loan terms, and no payments for up to 2 months. Take off your to-do list this summer and apply for a Scotia Plan loan today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The International Monetary Fund, in a recently published report, said the government's debt is expected to decline to 81.7% of GDP by 2028. The IMF's The Bahamas Technical Assistance Report, Domestic Local Currency Bond Market Development, states that the Bahamas' public debt is assessed as sustainable but vulnerable to shocks. Central bank debt was 89.4% of GDP at the end of 2022 after peaking at 103.3% in the previous year. The debt level is expected to decline over the medium term to 81.7% in 2028 as authorities work towards reducing central government debt to the target of 50% of GDP by 2031 as set in the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Retailers are having mixed reactions leading up to Independence Day sales, with one saying that there needed to be more events leading up to the July 10th holiday for people to get involved in. You can read more about that in today's Guardian business section. Bahamas Taxi Cab Union President Wesley Ferguson has acknowledged that price gouging is taking place in the taxi sector. He says a published rate list from the government would solve this problem. Ferguson telling Guardian Business that while he does not know personally of an incident of price gouging by any of the union's members, he understands it is a problem for the union's industry partners. Taxi drivers were demanding a fare increase since the reopening of the economy after the COVID pandemic for more than a year, citing higher fuel prices and lower tourist numbers. The Ministry of Transport raised taxi fares by 10% this past March. Consolidated Water Bahamas will install 2 new containerized desalination plants on Cat Island this year after recently signing a contract for those projects. That's according to Consolidated Water's GM, Henderson Cash. Cash, speaking to reporters at the Windsor Field Consolidated Water Desalination Plant, explained that each of the facilities for Cat Island will produce about 120,000 gallons per day. And more Bahamians should consider franchising as a means of growing their businesses and creating more entrepreneurs within the country. That's according to the first owner of a Tropical Gyros franchise, Kimberly Marshall, who expended $150,000 to purchase the franchise and get a store up and running. Says she was looking for an investment and found it in the Bahamian franchise. Marshall now owns and operates the first Tropical Gyros franchise. She said she understood how successful the purchase of a local franchise could be when she walked into its overflowing second location on John F. Kennedy Drive. Culmer says that with, this is Chef Kevin Culmer saying that with the new location, now 3 stores, New Providence company could not likely take the amount of New Providence stores to more than 6 locations. He says that with the hope of Bahamians coming forward to open franchises on some family islands, he'd like to see the store count in the country come to 10. A new location in the Prince Charles Drive Shopping Center. Overseas, the housing market in the U.S. showing a few signs of busting out of a 3-year funk after a disappointing spring season and a gloomy outlook for the summer and fall. Home shoppers came into 2024 with optimism that mortgage rates could ease further after a decline late last year. But those hopes faded as a stronger than expected data on inflation and the economy clouded the timing of a possible rate cut by the Federal Reserve. By April, the average rate on a 30-year home loan moved above 7% for the first time since November, and that plus record high home prices forced many would-be buyers to put their house hunt on hold indefinitely. Meanwhile, cost pressures continue to hurt small businesses. Rent inflation in the U.S., a pressure point for small businesses, according to new data from the Bank of America Institute. The average monthly share of rent in total payments through May is 9.1%, up significantly from the 2019 average of 5.9%. Some parts of the U.S. have higher rents. In Las Vegas, the average share of rent in May was more than double the national average. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Monday. Your market movers, Bank of the Bahamas moving 429 shares, closing at 434 unchanged. Commonwealth Brewery moving 100, closing at 1050 unchanged. Commonwealth Bank moving 1,995, unchanged at 522. Folcall moving 2,400, unchanged at 510. Finco moving 250 at 1450, unchanged. Consolidated Water down 13 cents to $4.94. Emira Incorporated up 3 cents, closing at $8.15. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,935.64, down 0.10. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
With somebody daughter, I like you, but you should know I'm a Bahamian from the Bahamas. It's the place you vacation. Slime domino every occasion. If I did it all.
We are back here with our final 3 minutes of Morning Event Business on this Independence Eve. Dwight Strachan along with DeQuesta Dean. All right, so the final 3 minutes, we're going to talk about more of what it means to be Bahamian. There have been a couple of, other than what's happening the last couple of days, some interesting things have been out there in social media and on the news as well, highlighting how very unique this country is.
Unique is the word, yeah.
And perceptions of who we are and what we accept and own up to. And And you know what's interesting? We're going to play something. A lot of you saw this, I believe, an expat here talking about why she loves the Bahamas. And I'm sure a whole lot of people were angry by this, were made incensed by it. But others, I'm probably like,
no lies detected.
It sounds fantastic, right? And every country has this.
Yeah.
And they will have, I think every country thinks the people they drive with and amongst are the worst in the world. And I think everybody's willing to accept that they're going to be, everyone is not the same.
Right.
But the question I want to ask is it a greater number of people here that can be labeled with these brushes? And is it? We don't know, but is it? And what does that say about us, right?
Yeah.
So take a listen to this. If you didn't listen, if you didn't hear this, I think this was last week. I don't know what her name is, but she put it out there. I guess was it TikTok or Instagram, one of them. The reasons why she, as a Canadian expat,
she wants to stay.
She's going to stay here.
Yeah.
At all costs.
Yeah.
Take a listen to this.
Okay, so I am an expat. I live in the Bahamas. I've been here on an almost 2-year contract for my husband's job, and we are now approaching year 2. And I'm going to tell you why you're going to have to drag me back to Canada kicking and screaming. And P.S., there is no rhyme or reason to these reasons why. They're just top of mind and the first thing that's popped into my head. First things first, the roads, the driving, everything about the driving here. It is so chaotic. It is so crazy. It is so unorganized and just, there's no rules. There's no, as an example, I'll tell you right now that we've been driving without license plates for almost 2 months. Cops see us all the time. Nobody cares. There are no rules to the road. Canada is so boring comparatively. It is so entertaining driving here. There's always something that is going to jump out at you. You have to be on your toes. You have to think. In Canada, you just follow the rules. Red means stop. Green means go. Yellow means go faster. That's what it is. It's boring. Also, you don't think. You just go, which I think is more dangerous, to be honest. Number 2 is it is chill. It is great. Everybody is just like, la-di-da, la-di-da. Though, things don't get done as fast, but it is super chill. And everybody is just like warm and kind and awesome. And number 3 is the culture. Like, as a Canadian, do we have culture? There's no culture. There's no, like, we have a culture. It's been repressed and dismissed. And now, what is there? Poutine and maple syrup. I can't really think of anything else. And I can't really think of anything better than being in a culture that gives it about their culture. You know? Anyways, those are my 3 reasons for now. But yeah, if you're thinking about moving out of Canada, I don't see why not. 10 out of 10. Sure thing. Easy peasy. This is part 2 of why I don't want to leave the Bahamas to go back to Canada, and why one of you guys are going to have to officially adopt me into the country. P.S. Yes, I am an expat. No, I'm not an immigrant. I have not immigrated here. We're here temporarily, unless we stay forever. That's the goal. These are the reasons why I love the Bahamas. I did 3 reasons in my last video. Here's 4, 5, and 6. So number 4 is common courtesies. Please, thank you, ma'am, sir, good morning, good afternoon. And going back to the driving, letting people out when they're stuck and they need out. See, this is why I love the organized chaos of the Bahamas driving, because people just know it and they get it and they're like, yeah, we're all in this together. Go on, be on your merry way. But the common courtesies and, just acknowledging people. If you were to go up to somebody in Canada on the streets of Toronto and say, hey, good morning, they'd probably be like, do I know you? And the funny thing is that Canadians, like, are well known for manners and, like, common courtesies. So I think it's great. I think that this is missing in our life, especially in Canada and America, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm so happy when somebody greets me. It makes me feel good. Okay, number 5, this is just random, but fruit. Yes. Yes, mangoes. Yes, guava. Yes, avocados. Like fresh from the trees. Fruit. Tell me why we don't have more farms here. Why are we not farming fruit here? I don't get it. There's so many great fruits in the Bahamas. It's random, I know. Just roll with it. And number 6 are the sunsets. Like, being on a small island in the middle of the ocean, the view, the sunsets, that is nothing. So I have been asked before, do you ever get bored of the view? Oh, you're going to get bored of it. Never, 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 never will I get bored of that view. It is stunning. It is serene. It is relaxing. It is everything. And I feel very lucky and blessed. And that's it. This is what Canada's lacking. That's why I love it here. That's why I love you guys. 10 out of 10.
Wow.
10 out of 10.
It's really something.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go through all the emotions listening to that. Yeah. So somebody who thinks the chaos is exciting and not like boring where they, in places where they follow the rules.
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
So you have us for jokes. But, I mean, the rest of it gives you some perspective, some interesting perspective. We have a very unique country.
Yeah.
There's some things that are wrong. We know what they are.
Yep.
We can fix it.
We can.
We don't want the chaos. I don't think we do. I wouldn't mind a little bit of boredom on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But it's certainly not a dull place. Never a dull moment.
Correct.
We just have to
fix some things.
Just fix some things.
Yes.
And we can do it. We know we have the talent. We know we have amazing people who shine all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
We have the best at everything, the arts, music, sports.
Yeah.
We can do it all. We can do it all. Bright minds, scientists, writers,
let us
everything.
do it, please.
We know what we need to do. We know we don't have to tolerate the foolishness. We know we don't have to tolerate the corruption. It is not necessarily a part of our DNA. But don't accept it. Don't accept it. Right? Expose it.
Yeah.
And root it out. We can fix this place, folks. Remember that. Let that video inspire you. Somebody on the outside-ish looking in.
Yeah.
We have what most of the people around the world want.
Yeah.
They would love this.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah.
Don't allow all of our negativity to ruin it for us. Keep that in mind as you make your way through Independence Day tomorrow.
Yeah. Happy Independence, Bahamas.
Despite all of it, there are people who are loving it here.
Yeah.
And we should be like that too. Yeah. DeQuestine, thank you for being here.
Had a wonderful time. Thank you for having me.
Next week.
Yeah.
And I'll be back on Thursday with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Nassau is the capital, Bahamas. Bimini is the gateway, Bahamas. 1492, Columbus landed. 1973, we were free. From Nassau to Inagua, Bahamas. From Freeport to Miguana, Bahamas. Tourists love our country, Bahamas. 700 islands, Bahamas.